And welcome back once again to the Domain Gaming presents Blades in the Dark. When we last left off, things had somewhat gone sideways during what was supposed to be a simple con, and finding the Nameless finding themselves entangled with one of their potentially an immediate rival. But that is a story for another day. As this time we're going to cross over and find out what's going on in the immediate present with Nathan. As the rest of your crew have left and have made their way across town to enact what they believe to be a simple con, what's Nathan doing?
All right, so Nathan at this time. Well, let's just say Nathan would probably have been reaching out to any contacts that he had, certain outliers of the Spirit Warden faction, to begin passing along some information. This is what we had discussed after the session last time.
Yes.
He'd be reaching out. I believe the name is Executor?
Exeter,
sorry.
Yes. And as you arrive at the gates of Bellwether Crematorium themselves, they don't have a latch. There's no seemingly obvious way to open them. No chain, no lock. But pushing them, they remain absolutely stock still until a figure emerges from within the building within. Makes their way across the forecourt, and the gates seemingly willingly open as the figure leaves and stands in front of you, indistinguishable from the rest of the cohorts, but something in your own memory triggers, rolling back memories. There's a way of distinguishing something possible by the Spirit Wardens, as the two lens glowing eyes fix you with an unsettling stare.
Nathan, not being your standard citizen and having been part of this brotherhood, let's just say it like that at this time, he doesn't have the same superstitions as the rest of the citizens, so he meets the gaze of the Spirit Warden and approaches.
Opens its arms as if inviting you to speak.
My time here is short. You know why. I have come to pass along some information that the Wardens might find interesting. And it's at this time...
The light dims a little bit and resumes.
Nathan reaches into his dirty coat, pulls out a few of the papers that he had drawn up. As a couple of them are diagrams of the rooms that he was able to explore of the Dimmer sister house. Others were more experiences that he had in the house. Also, the experiences that he had with the Dimmer sisters when they had left the house to contact them. Just various notes, some of it maybe stuff the Spirit Wardens already know. However, he's pretty sure that, as long as the rumors hold true, nobody's ever given any sort of report on the inside of the house. Nathan, as he hands these papers over, if Exeter begins to flip through them, he will explain what's on each of the papers. The quick diagrams, obviously, once he comes to that of the library, Nathan is going to describe the book that he found, stating that there are several like this.
It's the pages are sort of turned places in the back rather arbitrarily, taking them in, but there is a distinct pause on looking at the library as it sort of runs a leather gloved finger over the page, tracing the outline and the layout. He nods. And just the only sound is the sort of laboured breathing from behind the mask.
Nathan nods. As I do more research into this, I will feed whatever I find to the Wardens.
Seems to take all the information in and then holds the papers in one hand, and sort of with a flick of the wrist they disintegrate into what, dust or ash. Touch the side of his head, touch the side of the mask, unheard, consigning it to memory.
Nathan nods, and knowing that his time here is short, because the only reason Exeter would probably be willing to talk to him is he's not necessarily your standard Spirit Warden either. He has his own agenda, but the vast majority of them probably wouldn't want Nathan anywhere near the crematorium, so Nathan is going to make a very hasty exit.
So you turn around almost in unison, Exeter stepping back inside and walking across the forecourt as the gates screech and close once again with a loud clang. As you walk up into the silence of Charter Hall, and especially in an area where the general populace avoid. And where would you like to go next?
I don't... Nathan doesn't really have a place to go. The best place he would have... he wants to avoid Crow's Foot right now. Not that he knows anything has happened, it's just... ever since the goat races, he feels like something's been following him. He's not quite sure what, but it doesn't feel like a person's following him. So he would want to avoid the most haunted city, or most haunted district.
Absolutely. So options are yours. You can obviously go easterly towards Six Towers. You go west to Char Hollow or the Docks, north to Brightstone.
I think you would maybe circle around Crow's Foot and head into Silk Shore, since he knows the Nameless have turf there. The buildings that the one racket, the extortion prostitution racket combination, they kind of sequestered that building that was used there. And that's kind of where Nathan's been somewhat staying.
Absolutely. As you taking the long way round, avoiding Crowsfoot means going into Char Hollow, down south into Dunslow, looping back around and up north into through Barrow Cleft into Silkshaw. And walking down the central promenade of the district itself takes you through a row of various galleries and more of artistic establishments, the public-facing side of the district, which hides over its dark and quite seedy underbelly. And as you walk past, sort of glancing in the windows of as you head north out of Fogcrest, across Azure Bridge and past the Reflecting Gardens, and that's where it leads you to this line of gallery. You notice one picture in a window. A simple charcoal drawing and a sketch, which for well constructed, but it's more the subject of yourself.
Wait, it's a picture of Nathan?
It's a picture of Nathan, yes.
That's definitely going to cause him to pause and look over it, the scene, what he's doing, trying to figure out why is somebody drawing him.
As you look at it, there's the sound of footsteps approaching, and you hear a voice behind you. You have an interesting face.
He's gonna kind of whirl on his feet and kind of immediately look at the person talking.
As you turn, you see a girl, probably late teens, maybe her early 20s. This absolute mass of slightly unkempt black hair, fingers stained with various what look to be oils, paints, spatters up the sides of her sleeves as well. And you also notice that there's as she kind of rubs her hands together to stave off the cold, you notice charcoal all over her hands. And I have another one. I have several, and she sort of pulls this satchel round to her front, opens it up, and sort of sifts, passing 3 of them over.
Looking at the 3 that she presents, are they all different, or are they all of me?
There's one of a very elaborately dressed woman. Looks to be in high Eruvian fashion, but looks to be a Crosian, from what you can tell. The other one depicts a train. And the other one is of several figures, most of them without their sort of backs turned away or silhouettes. However, there's one who turns and looks towards sorry, turns and looks towards the viewer, her, who is another girl, probably again mid to late teens, dark hair that sort of half hangs over one eye, looks quite sullen. And the landscape around this that's been very, very quickly sketched out, you can tell by the wreckages and the very distinct shape of what was once a site of prestige and fallen into disrepair of Crumble Tower Courts in let's have a look. Sorry, one moment. It is Crumble Tower Courts in 6. The roof kind of slopes away and is semi-collapsed. The majority of decorations, gargoyles that once decorated the eaves, mostly broken. A few still stand, but most of the faces are rubbed away by the elements.
Nathan just continues to look through the drawings. I'm assuming he doesn't recognize any of the faces that he can see?
Nothing.
And also, did you cover what was exactly going on in the painting or drawing of him?
It seems to be a sort of more character study. There's some sort of sketched outlines of, but it's more of a study for maybe a larger piece.
Nathan's a little bit at a loss. He's not much of one for art or anything like that, so he's more, definitely the word here is stunned. He's not entirely sure what to make of everything as he kind of looks through the art, looks back at her, looks up at the art in the window. He kind of bites his lip a little bit as he thinks. Excuse my lack of knowledge when it comes to art. But the question that comes to my mind is, why?
She smiles, shakes her head, shrugs. I don't know yet.
Nathan's eyes narrow a little bit. Hands the papers back to her.
She pushes them back towards you. You need them.
Can I? No, that doesn't make a lot of sense. You kind of gave me everything. I have no need for these.
You do. You need them.
Nathan chuckles. I can assure you, I don't.
Keep them. Just in case.
Nathan kind of blinks and shrugs and makes his way, very, very confused. I would assume at some point he may stuff them into a pocket, but he's not going to be any sort of gentle about it. It's just going to line his coat to make it a little warmer against the cold of Duskfall.
As you round a corner, there's a simple newsstand, sort of wooden, open-fronted building, just little more than a kind of boxy shed almost, as the owner is closing up and like lowering the front, so the open section is closed off. As he sort of lowers that, throws bundles of unsold papers to the curbside for collection, and you notice the front page, which depicts the elaborately dressed woman that you have a picture of in your pocket. Taking a moment and just scanning through the article, says that for one reason or another, arrested and is currently being held at Six Towers Precinct and is awaiting transport to Imperial City to stand trial.
Nathan would raise an eyebrow, but that stated that's he's not sure what to do with that information. Like, he's aware it's the same person, but he's like, he's just not sure as he continues on his way, kind of running it through his mind.
Sorry, just to sorry, I need to give you a bit of information there. The last thing, it does mention and means that this person may be of interest for part of her involvement within the events of what's transpired. She does have involvement at some point with the Dimmer Sisters.
Okay, that would probably make him change direction and start heading towards Six Towers. Because if he can get any more information from them regarding the Dimmer Sisters, then he's gonna use that to feed also to the Spirit Wardens.
Absolutely. And upon arrival in the district, crossing in from the south and into the catacombs, the first thing you notice, and standing up the buildings around it, most of which are in some form of disrepair, a few figures very much like yourselves, those into vagrancy, and those who struggle by in the most downtrodden of the entire safer Dunslow. But you see the ruins of crumbled tower courts cutting its silhouette against the horizon.
I think at that, I would probably just make my way north towards the precinct. Obviously eyeing the crumbled tower a little bit, seeing if there were any differences between it and the drawing. But
pretty accurate. And let's see whether and what's your plan here with the precinct?
Just see if I can get the Bluecoats to let me talk to the person.
And stepping inside, you somehow the precinct is colder inside. Look around. A duty sergeant sits behind the desk, looks up, gives a sniff, and that, we're going to jump over to Crumble Tower Court. As Apatura, would you like to introduce us, given that the Pale Lady is currently occupied? Who are you today?
Well, today I am a Squirrel. 14, something between 14 and 15 years old. Kind of scrawny, with big, long, brownish hair, and most importantly, probably used to belong to someone way taller than her. A big leather coat that cover her from top of her shoulder to the bottom of her feet, and like trail a bit behind her. The sleeves are rolled up, but they're still too big, and there's pockets everywhere inside. And the thing is, the pockets weren't from the original. She stole them herself, and there's like every color, every texture, and most of them are filled with little trinkets.
And as the where you call home, Crumble Tower Court, you hear the furore of the rest of your crew, the tower bells, as they run around. Very much the eldest. No one is given backgrounds. All of you having grown up or orphaned, or at least unaware of your parentage, that you've bonded together, meaning that no one is actually that sure of how old they are. Most of them sort of arriving in infancy, growing up, the bells, at the point they take over this sort of self-perpetuating crew as the older ones move on to whatever comes next. And at the moment, the eldest, who, Jessa, you sort of hear her voice as she struggles to maintain some kind of order with the younger run around, hear the screams, the feet. And as she walks past, what are you doing, Ryan?
Probably sorting the new thing she got recently, like bits of colored glass and coins, but like rusty. She calls it coins, just rusty round bits.
Like washers and the...
Yeah.
And as Jessica walks past, she shakes her head. I give up. You want to take... Anyone want to take over? No, they don't. And you just hear, as she kind of walk here, the rest of them just shout, let me help! Honest, as you come sift through what you have. And it's at this point where one of your fellow cohorts, the sort of second to Jessa, she's sort of maybe a little bit older, but a little bit more quiet and less authoritative. Makes her way in. A hound, Joanna, kind of leans against the door and waits patiently for you to finish sorting. And false nonsense. Do you want to make some actual coin? Oh. Apatura?
You went freeze for.
Okay.
what was said?
Is everything okay?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Technical issues. Sorry.
Yes.
As she leans against the door and watches you as you sift through your trinkets, bits of coloured glass beads, and says, "Do you want to make some actual coin?"
Don't know. Do you have something you want? My
No, not.
prices are getting a little bit high right now.
It's not for me. If I had coin, I wouldn't be here. Go and live somewhere else. Like, I don't know. Anyway, someone talked to me about something, and well, I don't know who they were. Never met them before, but it seemed a bit weird. But mentioned a potential, a little bit of sneaky stuff, busting someone out of police custody. Coin's good.
They did say they would pay, right?
They're paying.
Yeah. And if they don't, I'm coming after you.
Oh, I'm with you. And she sort of pulls back her own coat. A sort of somewhat jury-rigged from different parts, but undecidedly a gun.
Right. So, just getting someone out of prison, that's it?
For sure. She kind of grabs another chair, which the back of which is just like the sort of the backrest has broken off completely. It's still with nasty looking stakes sticking out of where the supports once were. She sits down, leans in conspiratorially. Goes, "It's a bust out, and who knows Six Towers better than we do?"
Mm-hmm.
Is this person's up in the precinct? Just get in, get her out. We make coin. You make coin.
Yeah. I just looks around at her thing. I don't have anything else to do. Yeah, why not? Yeah. And she's just gonna start going into her more professional tools, like maybe bits of strings and her shoes that doesn't squeak.
And as you get yourself prepared, looking out through the old windows over the district, just about make out the where we will. Let's jump back to as Nathan steps back inside, and the duty sergeant looks at you, sniffs, and instantly he's like, "You can't stay in here." Sort of looking at you, assuming the worst. "It's in a hotel."
Don't worry, officer, that is not the reason for my visit, but it is good to know.
He bristles. He's a sergeant.
Means nothing to Nathan.
You sort of see him as he kind of sits back.
I couldn't help but notice the headlining article of the paper.
Whoa!
Go ahead.
No, it's him just sort of being incredibly, slightly obnoxious and indifferent.
I'm sure, as you very well know, that is already on the front page of the paper. I was interested in the person you picked up. I am currently in talks with a certain group of people regarding the supposed connections some people have to the sisters. And that was included in the article. So obviously it grabbed my attention.
It's you, the ink rakes, half the city's weird lot, and pretty much every man and his dog seems to be interested.
Oh, so I'm not the first one to have come by regarding this.
No, we've got journalists every hour on the hour coming in. Oh, can we get her side of the story? No, you can't. Go on. However, I'm guessing that...
What if I wasn't interested in her side and was more interested in your side? Would that be something you'd be more willing to talk about? Because obviously, I understand. You want to export her to the Imperial City. Or extradite her.
We're just hoping. I said, I've got no stake in this either way. However, you don't look like a journalist, at least, unless you're pulling a little bit of a ruse here, you know, dressing up as you are to sell an image. If I see anything this in any paper, remember I see your face. Now you can grease wheels a little bit, I can get you 10 minutes.
Worth the one coin that Nathan has on him. I'd say this is worth the one coin Nathan has on him. Nathan produces a coin. Or the equivalence thereof. So it's probably like a satchel.
It doesn't, it hardly touches the desk before it's gone and inside, and this way. Leads you through these kind of batwing doors that lead out to the back. And he indicates a room. He goes, wait in there. Go in. Two simple chairs over a table. You hear him as he goes down the corridor, and there's the sound, the clattering as of doors being unlocked and the jingle of keys. And you just hear his voice resonating down the corridor. Your lawyer's here.
Nathan kind of licks his hands, takes them through his hair to try and slick it back at least a little bit. Tries to look at least less homeless.
And you just hear this voice. It's going, let me guess, all is forgiven, free to go. Wrangled an agreement, maybe. Stop me if I'm fishing. Just go. And moments later, she appears in the doorway. Stands there, looks immediately perplexed. Sergeant sticks his head kind of from behind over her shoulder. 10 minutes. Shuts the door.
So, Nathan kind of makes a gesture. Have a seat or don't. That doesn't make any difference to me at all.
She don't. As she moves around and stands against the wall.
All right. Suit yourself. So, what they have you in here for, or what do they think they have you in here for? My time's short.
No. So's mine. Well, murder, extortion, and consorting with the forbidden, forgotten god.
Nathan kind of sucks on his teeth on that one. Pretty heavy crimes. You from the Imperial City? Is that why they're sending you back? Or are they...
Oh no. I'm a public spectacle. I'm returning to the Imperial City to stand trial so that they can, let's be honest, find me guilty and then make a very public case for my execution. Like I say, my time's short.
Well, let's get to the real reason why I'm here, then. Are what they are saying in the papers true? In case you haven't seen the papers, which it's a very good likelihood. What are your connections to the Dimmer sisters?
Professional. Some would say mutual interests.
In?
And then my friends? No.
Mutual interest in what?
The things unseen. I'm one of the few people that I believe has dealt with them on a collaborative level, away from their little self-isolationist regime that they run.
Nathan would move to one of the chairs and have a seat. Seems like we are somewhat in the same boat, you and I, then. Have you ever been inside the manor?
Twice.
At this, Nathan begins to produce a small bit of... You know what? It's probably the backside of one of the pieces of art in his pocket right now, as he takes a little bit of charcoal or just something to write with and starts writing stuff down. Would you be willing to talk to me about it? I'll share what I've seen from inside the manor as well. Compare notes, so to speak.
And what do I get from it? She leans in close and sort of comes to the side of the table, walks to the side of the table. And get me out, and I will tell you everything I know, free of charge.
I'm gonna go ahead and do this. Nathan is going to... I'm technically checking off a bit of load here.
Okay.
Nathan shows the inside of his coat, and that is where you see his bandolier of alchemicals loaded. Obviously, she probably doesn't know exactly what each one of those is, so I'm not checking off what specific alchemicals are in there at this moment.
Sure.
That is something that could be certainly arranged. It's going to be a crazy escapade, though, for just the two of us. But it can be done.
I've got friends on the outside. They're putting the word out you might be able to find assistance.
Where do I go?
I don't understand it myself, but something was mentioned about the bells.
You'll have to give me a bit more information from that. I'm sorry, I'm not quite up on names of crews and the like. I'm not a spider.
Understandable. From what I understand, they're based in the towns. But where they are, can't tell you.
Annoyingly vague.
Sorry.
Alright.
And as there's something that you feel the temperature almost drops a couple of degrees. And the hairs on the back of your neck and on your arms stand on end as you lift up the page that you were prepared to make notes on and look once again at that sketch of Crumble Tower Court.
I'm gonna just be kind of blunt here. Is this a supernatural entity in the area, or is this just happenstance causing the hairs on the back of my neck to stand?
Think of it what you will. If it's pure coincidence, or is this mysterious ways?
Well, the reason I ask is because I have ghost mind.
Something seems very... It's like I say, it's a... There's no physical presence in the area, but whether something it's not entirely impossible at this point. And as you are shown back out of the interview room, she's returned to her cell, kind of as the two of you, she turns and...
You have just finished listening to this week's episode of Blades in the Dark, What Happens in the Dusk, part of the Domain Gaming, written and told by Wyverian and Livespark. A special thanks to you, the listener, and if you wish to continue supporting us, subscribe, like, and share. As always, comments are welcome. Until the next chapter, remember the first rule of a con. Offer them everything for nothing, and give them nothing for everything.